So we'll go ahead and call the EMA committee meeting to order. We have a set of minutes in front of us.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay, motion carries. Now we'll open up public comment. Seeing none, we'll turn it over to Director Cooper.
Thank you. Well, for the date, I know everybody's been busy. This is about the only date I could get with all this, so, I apologize for any inconvenience or anything like that. It's about that time to get everything through, so I had to take what I could get. First item for business is we have some EMS surplus. My understanding is this was on the agenda for budget committee last week, so I think they passed it pending the approval of EMA.
What is it, Joey?
No,
I can't remember what's on the list. It's just old items that are, let's see here.
Zero wireless.
Yeah, old gateway we don't use anymore, and then some old laptop brackets that are broken and some headsets and things like that.
Move to approve.
Motion,
second.
second.
Question,
More discussion?
what is a gateway?
It's a device that has, internet connectivity for the ambulance.
Explains everything for
Just like a little jetpack that a lot of people
Basically,
carry.
you,
It's not useful anymore.
you can get it,
Okay.
you can get them in green to go over John's right.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care about that, Mr. Jerry. That's my brother.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, motion carries. Next.
Okay, next two pages is the status quo budget. You look on page 2, the only difference is for 47, and that's longevity pay. It's highlighted on mine, but
Gotcha.
I did black and white.
Longevity's line 186, if anybody needs, yes.
That's the
Any
only,
reference.
that's the only line that's different. And that will go up from year to year.
Good.
Yeah.
So that, trying to think, to do this all at once or separate. Anyway, I have,
Separate though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
So,
Yeah. Motion to approve status quo
Second.
budget.
but that's the 54410
any discussion?
budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, motion carries.
Next page is primarily the 118 line and the ambulance fund, and then the 101 public safety grants. Those two in the middle. And those are status quo also. So running those three too.
Make a motion?
In the middle too.
Yeah.
These other ones are just ones I keep up with. It's all status quo.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nay, motion carries.
You agree with it?
Well, I'm thinking your 118 lines, you get a new set of revenue. So basically,
Wait, something on
well, so I'm looking at what you have budgeted to spend for 25, 26. I guess what was confusing me was available funds 25, 26. I guess that's what I'm confused about. So I get,
Oh, okay.
I
I
get your
got you.
25, 26 budget. I just wasn't quite sure what available.
I got you, okay. This is just what was spent, according to,
Okay,
what you would call it, Scalabry.
okay,
What we had spent down, are these over here.
okay. So this one,
So this left side, yes, would be status quo.
okay, got it.
We good, Aaron?
Yes, sir.
All right, motion carries, so we'll move on to the next.
All right, next is the improvement plan, 5-year. So as you know, well, before I get into that, all right. These books are not gifts. they're for document keeping. Okay? Primarily, this plan.
Understand.
Now, it has been updated from last year. I update it every year. And if you looked at it before, you know, on page 2, kind of does the contents. But you really start getting into really categories on page 8, new station locations. Page 9 is needs assessment. Page 10 is our current deployment, as far as personnel, people, equipment. And then page 14 is our yearly improvement as far as needs for the next 5 years. And these are really the big capital needs, if you will. 16 does the service area that we work, has our stations marked on it, shows you all those. And page 17 is our community protection classification for Wilson County. So, you know, I wish you would completely read through this, and it will explain, you know, the ones we have now, what they do, as far as personnel.
Where do you foresee new stations?
Well, right now, I'm not even looking at new ones.
Okay, so how many more people you need, where?
Because right now on the books is Station 6 being relocated, and that,
Which ones are they?
Lagarda,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's with a grant. The state has told me in the mayor's office that it's done, it just hasn't went through the third party approval, I guess. The money's there and it's already allocated to Wilson County.
State money?
Yeah.
Got
I think, well, it's actually from the tornado. There's like 6 counties, 6 or 7, that has already been allotted certain amounts of money through the BRIC program.
Okay.
So we're just, the plan has been submitted that they wanted. It was basically a breakdown from the tornado. And what we would do with the money and all that stuff. So that was put together, sent to the state. They received it. You know, like I said, we've heard back. They got it. It's going through the process. And they're having something about a third party having to evaluate it. And all that. And I'm not saying the latest election had anything to do with it, but it has taken a little longer than expected.
What are you saying? You gonna build a new Station 6 somewhere?
Well, yes, we're going to do it with the new school. But that's too far off the road, plus we don't have a separate drive, so we would be sharing the same drive with all the kids, all the parents, you know, and all the teachers. That's not doing it.
Right, yeah, no, that wouldn't, yeah.
So I laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible locations to the mayor's office. Haven't heard back yet on those locations. And this new station will house a shelter. And that was part of the grant process of what we could do with the community with it. So, but anyway, that's pretty much, you know, paid for and quote what have you.
Right.
So, and the next one on my list is a headquarters. Some of that will be grant related, some of it will be county related, as far as funding.
You know, on tell us where you wanna relocate six.
Basically, I'm looking at, double log cabin in Winona area.
How much land is there where the Station 6 is now? Just right there where it
Yeah.
is?
Not much.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
closest town.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd take probably about 5 acres for this new one. By the time you do the shelter and little training area and the station itself. And then do parking and all that stuff. Cause it takes about, a normal station right now, we do on 2 acres. And parking is basically just for the people when you do that. So actually we would need a little bit more for all that. So those are my 2 needs as far as stations, 6 headquarters. And the reason for doing that is I gotta get my personnel up to par. To Station 11, Station 7, Station 6 still has the minimal amount of people there. We haven't, upped those yet. And I don't wanna keep adding stations
First thing.
when I'm already hurting over here.
Right.
So that's the reason for that. So, mainly personnel is probably the biggest need at the moment. That's listed in here.
What page you want to look at?
That is
Yeah.
on,
10.
the breakdown, yes, starts on 10 and goes through 14. Kinda does the, administrative section first. If you, on every one of these, it lists, who is there now, what they do, and then you have the underlined section of all these pages of what the need is. As you go down through there, because it does headquarters first, and then it breaks down each station. What is at that station, how many personnel are there now, how many personnel is needed to run that equipment that is there now through every one of those.
So I saw today that you promoted a new captain and a new lieutenant.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes,
to
I've
you.
done this morning. I had one retired, one captain,
Too tired.
Alan Kaiser.
Really?
Okay, all right, yes.
Yeah.
I love Lisa Hedman,
And so to replace that captain, you had to come from a lieutenant, so then you had to replace that lieutenant. So.
Right.
Who'd you promote to now lead?
Lisa Hackman got the captain.
Okay.
Her 2 had turned in for that, and then Austin Barnett, which is military. I don't know what branch or anything. You remember that he's in or was in?
Well, we'll miss having Lisa.
Oh,
on
just so
station.
you know, I think he did go to Iraq or one of those places over there. Took one of our flags with him, our department flags, and did fly it over there. Because each of them were able to do that,
Oh, wow.
and so that was cool.
That was good.
But anyway, back to this.
So that I understand on page 14,
Okay.
so, year 1, shift personnel 12, year 2, shift personnel 12. But you may be, but I don't think you're asking for 12 people for every year for the next 5 years, right?
No, I am.
Oh, you are, okay. So 12, 24, 36.
And I can tell you why. It's because once you add all this up
Yes,
that I got over here, you're talking 66 people.
okay.
And this ain't nowhere near 66, but
Yeah,
I could do 24 next year.
sure. Sure.
that would cut
Well,
down.
that's what I didn't know, as I was reading through the narrative over here, I kept seeing basically Station 8 is staffed with 4, realistic need is 5, so I'm like, okay, there's 1. Station 9 is staffed with 7, realistic, need for this station is 8, that's 1. So I didn't see that many people.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, on some of those you do have that, but if you look at, let's just look at Station 1. Look at all the apparatus that's there, you only have 4 people.
What page are
Uh, there's 7, because, see, this is, I don't have a board to write on.
You're talking per shift.
Per
too.
shift, exactly.
Right, per shift, yes.
Yeah.
So you have to triple it,
Gotcha.
once you get done with the final number.
No, I got you.
What he says,
I was
12,
only
we talking
thinking
about
that,
4
Mr.
per
Evans,
shift.
because I think we had some, a similar
No,
conversation
that-
last meeting.
No, I should have thought that as well, but when I was just seeing
Yeah.
the one person, I was,
1 equals 3.
well, yeah, when it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like Station 1, and you know, you have to think about this too, is like Station 1, 7 people, let's just say if everybody was on shift and everybody was where they're supposed to be, you'd have 7 people at Station 1, which is Maddox Simpson.
And they are popping.
Well, 98% of the time, they only work with 5. Because normally, on a normal day, you have anywhere from 5 to 6 people off. And we can't accommodate those holes with overtime and part-time. One, because everybody's just wore out and don't want to do overtime, because it's not mandatory. So they run minimal people up there. So when you do that, you only talk about 2 pieces of equipment being run. So we got a rescue truck up there that hardly ever gets run. And it needs to be run, you know, major fires, wrecks on the interstate. I mean, there's just so many things that. So, all that to say this, there is a staffing issue that we have to get up to par as a priority. You know,
Gotcha.
yes, I agree, money, I mean, people's the biggest, you know, reoccurring money thing, but that's where I'm at. That's why I can't build anymore, I can't, you know, do anything until I can accommodate what equipment I already have, you know, that's not being run.
Have you got a lot of people, have you got some applications or people looking?
We do, we're hiring 3. I think they're doing their orientation right now. They should be turned loose. Anytime, really. 'Cause we did have one, that went back home to Colorado. So we got that home. I think we got like 3 spots, 3 vacancies, and we're filling those 3 next week.
That makes a tremendous difference from where you were, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
It also will make a difference for us on the turnback side of things, because obviously, whereas, you know, we were down a lot of people, we were getting a lot of money turned back.
Right.
It's not gonna be turned back, so,
Next year,
This year.
this, what,
Yeah.
yeah, we in, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably get the majority, because a lot of those holes wouldn't fill until the latter part.
Yeah.
But you'll still get some, but yeah, not.
Yeah.
Not like it was.
What's your priority, have you know what personnel?
Yes, sir. Yeah, personnel.
So Joe, we'll take this and read it real good then.
Yeah, because I mean, we,
Look it over real good.
Yeah.
because I'd like to do at some point, you know, back when we get ready to look at that, far as personnel. Kinda, so I wanna do it for the ones that are really not involved in how deployment works when a call comes in. And I think it'll be beneficial. You know, I'm a drawing board type person. I like showing stuff. And really, that's the only way to really comprehend what I'm talking about, is to show it and explain it. It's just talking about it, you're not gonna understand. But if I show it to you and tell you why and how it affects this and this and this, I think you'll have a better understanding of why I'm asking for what I'm asking for.
Aaron, what do you hear about growth through next year? Anything? Things to going good?
So this year growth looks, very close, right now preliminarily looks very close to what it was last year. I don't know about growth for the future, you know. What I hear is that things are still pretty hot and heavy in the Lebanon area and slowed down on the west end a little bit, but I don't know how that translates to, you know, raw growth numbers. I can tell you this from my perspective, from my 13 years, whatever they're worth, is that it's never enough.
That's correct. And Joey, is that what he's asking for, we need, but at the same time, he ain't gonna get all of it. I know, he knows it, but at the same time, you know, we're just trying to see what holes we can plug.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
AFT would have a lot of these.
Yeah.
In certain areas,
Yeah.
they'll break the wall.
But anyway, my deal there, and I think is what we've done, is instead of, I guess you just accept it as a working document for the minutes.
We can do that.
As far as the plan.
So we got a motion to accept the director's, 5-year plan.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Motion carried.
That's all I have on my agenda.
All right, we got, any old business? We got, Mr. Newberry's got some new business.
Pass that around, please, sir. So I think November, maybe December last year, kind of floated it out that, hey, I'm working on a equipment replacement capital project plan. Cause we're looking at our heart monitors, our AEDs, our power loads, power cots, and our stair chairs. And, a lot of those are or exceeding end of life, which is monitors is 7 years and most, equipment is 7-8 years, as far as medical equipment. So on that, sheet that says Life Pack 35 at the top there. So basically right now, like I said, our monitors are 7 years old. They're rolling on their 8th year, coming around. Power loads, power cots, stair chairs. So we basically sat down and kind of looked at everything, where we're at. So we can buy off of several different buying groups. Savic is the most common for EMS. And looking at that, with Savic, they give you a set amount. However, if there's language in those bids, if you are buying more than 2 of an item, there can be additional discounts, negotiations, etc. Because the more obviously you buy of different things, the more discount they're going to give you. So with that price comparison, we can save over $700,000 just because we're doing a lot of different items at once versus just going and buying 1 or 2 individual items at a time. There you go. We looked at the Life Pack 35. We did a in-service we did in-service, but they did a familiarization presentation with the device. And the monitor we have currently, we know what the capability of that is. So we're getting feedback from folks, but everybody there was very impressed with it.
That's like that.
Physio control, which it falls under Stryker now, which of course they do our power loads or cots,
Does
stair
Zoll-
chairs.
I know you get away from Zoll.
If we go to these, yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, they, the technology, like I said, this monitor just came out last year. It's pretty impressive on the things it'll do as far as 12 leads and all the different features that it has on that. Of course, we have the Lucas devices, or the CPR compression devices, are Stryker brands as well. So I'm not gonna get into the features and some of the stuff there, but there, other than the continuity of care, there's a lot of agencies around that are going to the 35, particularly Memphis, Williamson, Coffee. You can read those there. But again, because we're toward the end of life, it's not just because, oh, hey, this is the latest and greatest, and you know we need it because it's latest and greatest. It's essentially the end of life component of that. So. In looking at this, again, on the Savic pricing, you could save some money now, and their trade-in, and we're looking later this year. I'm not talking, I'll get into that in just a minute, but if the sooner we do it as opposed to in 2025 versus 2026 or on, you can see if we wait till next year and do it, then it'll cost us another $90,000. And if they have an up to a 5% price increase, you can see the difference in that. They do have options for 0% financing for 3 or 4 payment installations as well. So you can, break that out over 3 or 4 payments, whatever we want to look at as far as that goes. So that locks that price in. So on the other sheet, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here. So that would be 15 power loads. We got our initial power loads off of an AFG grant in 2015. And they've done us well, but again, they get used a lot and they're end of life. Same on the power cots. We have bought those throughout the years. So we were fortunate enough to get it set up 2018 or so. Tennessee, set up a program for EMS across the state where we pay for every run. It's a 10 care, and then they reimburse us at like $250, and we pay in like $10 for every call. So we've gotten a lot of money. I was looking, if my numbers are right, like $300,000 to $400,000 we've used to buy cots and high ticket items over the past 8-9 years, that we haven't had to come to you guys and ask for that money, because Aaron has got it set aside to where we can utilize that as we need it for those higher ticket items. And that money's built up in addition to that as well, and I'll get to that in a moment. Stair chairs, we have some that are 2004 models, so they're pretty old. They've done well, but they're definitely end of life. Cardiac monitors, again, we bought those in 18, so they're getting toward their end of life as well. And in looking at this proposal and project, we put in to go ahead and include annual maintenance and repairs for the monitor for 7 years, and the cots and the power loads, I forgot to put that on there, the power loads and the cots for 10. So basically that would ensure that they're annually they're serviced every year, and then any repairs, it don't matter if it's $12 or $12,000, it's fixed, no cost, because we've already paid for it up front. Because I can tell you right now, because just got one back, a monitor, you drop it and the circuit board messes up, that's $5,000. So yeah, it's expensive, but it's insurance essential. So in our business, things are going to happen. It's an uncontrolled environment. So that's our power loads, cots, stair chairs, and cardiac monitor defibrillator situation. So our AEDs, what I would like to look at in that respect, of course, we would have an incompatibility if we leave our current ones and we go to a different brand. So, and there's some of those that are, they were bought when you were there, Jerry, back in 04, 03, somewhere in that ballpark on some first grant money. So some of those are pretty old as well. And to piggyback off of that, when we bought newer ones, we've given the sheriff's department some of our older ones. So they have, the majority of theirs are that old, okay, in their patrol cars. So if we replace 46 of ours, that would get everything on our fire engines, administrative vehicles, UTVs, special events, etc. But I would love to go ahead while we're looking at it, because we can get better bulk pricing, and I've talked to Chief Hale, and he's 100% on board, is if he can get 60 for his patrol cars, now we got an AED in every patrol car. I can tell you, Rutherford, Sumner, Robertson, Cheatham, every one of them you see them on social media where they've done that. They got them in every patrol car, and there's no reason we can't do the same thing. Because I can tell you right now, they do a lot for us in the field as far as deploying AEDs, a lot. Because we replaced the pads for free to them because they used it for us. We would have used them anyway. But they don't have one on every patrol car, so it's kind of hit or miss. They could be 5 minutes from the scene we're 20 minutes from. They may or may not have one right now. So I would like to incorporate this because we get, again, the more we buy, the better pricing. But also, I talked to Robert Baines about county buildings, since we're in the, let's look at the whole gamut, not just us. Let's put it as a public safety project and putting, these numbers may fluctuate a little bit because we got to figure out exactly the buildings and new buildings and so on and so forth. So bear with me on that component of it. That might fluctuate, but Robert had 8 or 9 he knew of. And then I was thinking about like the new building over there. I don't know if anything's incorporated, so we might go ahead and incorporate some for the judicial center or whatever that's going to be called over there.
Leave one there.
Yeah, one per level, and that would put 2 here, replace the one at the clinic, and then again, some other county buildings throughout the complexes that Robert deals with. So we bought 120 of those AEDs, it's 220,000, or 222, I'm sorry. If we only did 46 with just us, that's 85,000, so, it's $137,000, but those AEDs save lives. They're in patrol cars, they're in public buildings, those kind of things. I mean, I think it's worth it. Every school has one, yes, sir. That's a state law, actually, they have to have one. And some of them have 2 to 3, obviously, to let in high school, some of these bigger facilities.
Does the school system get their own, or?
They do. So looking at that, it would run about 2.7 million. And the reason I'm not gonna say, I don't even wanna bring it up to, of course I know we can't tonight, but to vote on this is we've got a grant. Now this is the 4th grant we've applied for over the past 2 years. We applied for 2 AFG grants. We didn't get one. The other one we won't know until July. So that's why I'm saying let's don't do this. If you do it now and then they give you the grant, they don't. That's right. You lose that $600,000. So I mean, I don't think we would want to. We may not get it, but then again, the one chance that we did this and they come back and say, hey, you got it, then we would not get that money. So that, again, we won't know that till June or July, probably July. We do have some of that TennCare money that, again, is kind of building up because we haven't bought some cots and things in the last several years. So we got around 200,000 of that we can put toward the project. The other thing that's out there, and Aaron can speak to this a little bit more, is the opioid money that's out there. You could utilize some of that because Montgomery County's bought AEDs. I just talked to the director, Robertson, before I came up here. He bought cardiac monitors off of it. So, of course, they're smaller. They bought one, because they don't have as many ambulances. So there is some potential to utilize some of that opioid money toward some of this. And again, you have a 3 to 4 payment option, 0%. And that's till, I think it was September or October of this year. So just want to throw it out again. I don't want to do anything on it because we have that AFG grant sitting out there that is, I think it's 500,000. That would cover 15, if my memory serves me correctly, of the power loads, if we've got that grant. And then obviously that would be that much less money we'd have to put in for it. But again, they don't send you, like we put in for it last year, they don't send you anything saying you don't get it until the last award comes out, and they still don't tell you. They just say, it's all the money's gone. It's like, well, it'd been nice if you told us that 6 months ago, but that's.
Who gets the money and don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If your name comes up, you got it, but if you don't, you don't know if because I was told today, they had 6,000 applications for the AFG that we put in for. 3,600 of them never made it to review. For whatever reason, technicality, whatever.
Right.
But they don't, ours could have already been kicked out, but we don't know that. There's no way to find that out. So, fortunately, I wish there was. But again, that's all based off of end of life for those medical devices and equipment that we have out there. And just want to put it on the radar. cause Aaron and I talked the other day about it, and, you know, I missed it a couple months back, so didn't wanna just kinda be off guard, and, but again, I don't wanna do anything either because of that potential for that AFG grant that's out there as well, so.
So we're looking at a total cost of what?
It's 2.7 would be the max.
So can you use opioid funds for all of these pieces of equipment?
I would say
Just
the monitors
AEDs?
and the AEDs, I would feel
Yeah.
very comfortable. I wouldn't feel very comfortable with any of the cot, stair chairs, power loads, et cetera.
I think you'd be stretching it, and, you know, I haven't even dug down yet into, I feel pretty good, like you said, about the monitors and the defibrillators. But I haven't even dug down into that level just yet.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, cause there's what, 900,000 a year right now, something like that?
Yeah, roughly,
Yeah.
Cause you're like
it's
the,
18 years or whatever.
yes,
I think it's 18.
yeah.
so the monitors, for example, just the monitor, this is no
900,000
batteries, cause you gotta add all that jazz,
18.
is 850,000. And,
What do you do with your old monitors to get
we're
up?
trading them in. Yeah, they actually give us, that was one of the reasons it would cost more if we wait till next year. Cause they're actually giving us $8,200 per monitor to trade it in, and $400 for an AED, and newer AEDs, $1,500. And that's what I paid for them, so.
They sell in third world countries.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Every
they
firm,
do.
Alright.
Nicaragua.
So Brian, is that numbers come off your total or not? The
What's that?
2.7? Does
Yeah,
that-
the 2.7, actually 2.6, I'm sorry. 2.6, and then you could minus, like I said, you know, we can take 200,000, just throw a
Right.
number out of the 10-care money,
Yeah.
and any opioid money that might be available to it would come off of that, and then divide that by 3, 4, whatever.
So where we turn them in, is that counting that?
That is counting that,
Okay.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
The trade-ins, just to give you an example, on the, power loads, cots, and stair chairs is 164,000 trade-in value.
Okay.
And then let me find it here, the monitors, the AEDs, and then I say newer, cause I give you, again, 1,500 off a newer one, is 171,000. And again, those numbers, cause I gotta get with Chief Hale to make sure exactly how many they got to turn in, exactly how many we got. That's a very good number because we just did maintenance on them. So I'm pretty comfortable with that within maybe 1 or 2. So yes, it does include that trade-in value off of that. That is correct.
And you said the cost for the cardiac monitors and then the AEDs total was what, 850? Is that what you said?
Well, the monitors themselves are 850,
Okay,
but that's just a monitor. You have to add the components like pulse oximetry and blood pressure cuffs and stuff like that. So
gotcha.
you gotta
Okay,
put that component in it as well.
okay. I was just trying to break down your 2.6 million, cause you had cardiacs.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got it,
Chairs.
I didn't print any off, but you're
Yeah.
more than welcome to look. This is kind of a working draft of where I've been trying to break it down to get the numbers as far as how many AEDs we're trading in and that kind of thing,
Right.
on here. So I feel pretty comfortable. It's very close. And you're more than welcome to look at it. Sorry, I didn't, I just printed it before I ran out the door.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's kind of the project in general and why it is. Again, it's not because it's the latest and greatest, it's, we're in a lot of
2.7.
stuff.
Right.
2.6,
Two old ones.
yeah.
You have a few different options when time comes as far as how, you know, opioid funds is one, you know, obviously you could do a capital outlay note to pay it back out of debt service, which you've got a pretty good fund balance in, and you've probably still got some capacity in, so you're talking 3-year capital outlay note. I know this commission thus far has preferred not to pay interest, so you could look at what you did on patrol cars and fire trucks and transfer interest income out of the debt service fund and just pay for it outright. The only thing about that is you're gonna have 2 things. You're gonna have some bonds coming up that are gonna hit a call date, which I would love to see us use some of these interest earnings that are accumulating to actually call some bonds. That would be number one. Number two, if we've got a bond outstanding at 2.5%, but we have to build another building, a middle school or whatever, or 4, then, you know, I don't wanna pay my 2.5% bond off if I'm gonna go out in the market and borrow money for 6. So, but I can use that interest earning basically to borrow less. I can use it for some of the construction of the building. So I don't wanna see us get too crazy with the availability of the interest earnings because they do have some good purposes, there, so. But you will have some options.
And again, theirs is the 3 or 4 payment option is 0% interest.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
So that option is available.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that too.
But we would have to do that by the end of October.
I think that there's, yeah, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, October 31st.
Yeah. Because, cause one, they'll have price increases and they'll probably change their.
So Brian, just so we know, as a committee, we're gonna wait on you about the grant.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna wait till I hear something on the grant, 'cause
Okay.
again, I don't wanna risk us potentially losing that. I mean, who knows, maybe, probably won't get it, but, you know, we've tried those 2 AFG grants, and the 2, state of Tennessee also has a grant, from EMS that they just started, last year, and we applied for that, which it only covers up to 150,000, but we applied for that and didn't get it. Of course, it's $2 million statewide, which sounds like a lot of money, but then when you divide that statewide, there's only 17 ambulance services that got any money. So, I mean, yeah, it wasn't really well thought out, but, you
But
know.
we'll definitely know whether we got the grant or not in time to do.
Yeah,
By July, we should know, so I mean, historically, mid-July, I think, they've just, you know, cause their budget usually starts October 1, federal budget.
Oh, yeah.
So they usually try to have that flushed out by July. And then they start, you know, working on the next process. So yeah, as soon as we hear something for sure, and again, unfortunately, with the AFG grant, as probably most grants are, I don't know, it's like, they never tell you unless you get it. And then once you know it's spent out, then you're like, oh, okay, well, we didn't get it.
Right. Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Anybody got anything else? Guess we need one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.